We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
Welcome to a special episode of the Wicked Theory Podcast. This is our Wonder Woman review special. We've got my buddy Jay.
Hey, what's going on?
And we got my buddy Ed.
To quote linebacker Ray Lewis, God is amazing.
And I got my brother Bob.
What?
Ed? That was more for Ed, not so much for Wonder Woman.
No guitar in hand and lost for words.
So thanks for listening.
You know, Ray Lewis is a criminal, right?
All right, so that's the team. This is an offshoot special episode. Thanks for listening, especially if this is your first time hearing us. If you dig this, maybe you check out our main show, the Wicked Theory Podcast. So let's get into this. We'll split it up. And this is how we usually do our spoiler, non-spoiler episodes. We'll go around real quick. We'll do like a non-spoiler kind of overview with a little bit of splash of detail and opinion, but really it's to kind of get see who liked it, loved it, get their rating, and then when the time comes, we'll definitely get into spoiler stuff. But when we do, you'll know that because you'll hear this.
Spoilers ahead.
All right, so that's the sound you look for when you want to get out of the building.
Why are you looking at me, man?
Because you're cute.
All
right. So I think it's just I'll say this. I think everybody liked it. I think that's fair to say.
Yes, I think that it is a fair consensus.
Okay.
Actually, I would disagree. I think everybody loved the movie.
Oh, spoilers.
Yes.
All right. So it's like, where do we start?
It was good. It was very good.
Who do we start with? Ed's been vibrating in his seat.
Yes, this is a big
So-
a big moment.
So we're going to make him wait? Or?
I don't know. I don't
No,
know what's
give it-
best.
let him have it.
Let him have his.
I'm so happy right now.
Okay. Are you still are you riding a wave, like a glow?
Oh,
Do you have
man.
that glow?
He brought an ice cream cake, Bill.
Let it be known, Ed literally brought a cake that said "Happy Birthday,"
And he drank fucking hooch
and he's yeah.
before the show.
A couple of
Before
shots.
the show, he's
Yeah.
actually sipping Johnny Walker Black on ice.
Yeah, but did he have 2 shots already?
No,
Yeah, one-
I had one shot.
He had one
shot.
shot. Now he's sipping it on ice.
One shot in a wide bottom glass
He's
too,
ahead
not
of
a
me,
little.
for Christ's sake.
But so you're celebrating.
Yes. For listeners of this podcast have known for a long time that being a huge DC Comics fan, I have been plagued the last 2 years
Are you gonna fucking cry?
Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit.
with the poor reception of the previous 2 films, previous
Okay.
3 films,
All right.
and have
Yeah,
been
it's okay to black out that other one.
Yeah, and
Convenient.
Yeah.
We
And-
understand, but go
We'll
ahead.
try not to step on you. Go.
Yeah. So basically, the one thing this movie is really good. Like
Yeah.
I can stand tall and be proud of this movie.
Absolutely.
It's not great.
Okay.
There are some things that we'll go into, but overall, it's really really good. It's really 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 good. I think all the stuff on Paradise Island, on Themyscira, her backstory. I think Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, man.
Ooh, Chris Pine.
I
yeah.
think he really carries it.
I think I want to bang him too now.
I know, right?
The charm on him.
Hey, man,
If
look,
anyone
just-
doubted that he was an excellent actor, now you do not anymore. This is
He's got
Yeah,
chops.
really. Yeah,
At the very least, he's
absolutely.
got comedy chops.
you know what? But I've loved him in Star Trek movies. Even like Smoking Aces and like other stuff he's done. But with this, man, just watching him on screen inspired me. Like I felt above average just watching him.
Yeah, that was actually a good line.
Yeah, that was a pretty good line.
Yeah.
All right, but so, well, he's always had it. Like, I didn't realize how charming he was actually till I saw him on Saturday Night Live recently, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, he's versattle. He can do more than I've seen him do.
Yeah.
Like,
Have you seen that Coast Guard movie he did, The Finest Hours?
No, why would I see that?
I don't know. Just he's he's a lot more subtle and quiet in that movie.
Okay.
But like what's funny is my grandfather was in the Coast Guard in World War II,
Okay.
and like right around that time, and it's like scary how much he reminded me of my grandfather, just in those little
All
kind
right.
of manners.
That was actually a really well-received movie, too, right?
Yeah, it got great reviews. It just didn't get good box office.
Did your grandpa have those baby blue eyes, those crystal blue eyes like he's got?
No, but he was very straightforward and matter of fact. Like that one. There's one point where
It's
like
get on my lap. No.
he's
Oh,
on
sorry.
he's on a date with this girl and she's afraid to get in the boat.
Is this Grandpa or the movie?
No, this is the movie.
I don't think I care about either story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we get back to Wonder Woman?
All right. Fine.
By the way, are you working with a cold or is it the cigarette smoke that's getting
Oh,
you?
I have been sick as a dog all week.
Okay, because
Like,
it sounds like
dragging myself.
Have you
in
been
and out of
getting
work.
better before you came here, so that we're not going to get sick?
Well, I took a nice big swig of about of NyQuil, like right
and some
before I
Johnny
walked
Walker
in.
Black. Hoping
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is also why he's got
NyQuil and Johnny
NyQuil.
Walker Black.
Yeah.
He may
Why?
not even make the show.
He's like, why? He's like,
Is that
why?
a problem?
A little bit. It could be. How much NyQuil?
You say that like you do this often.
And Wonder Woman
Like about
There's a reason why bums drink it. Let's leave it at that.
I got a bottle. It was probably about that much.
Oh, good. Captain Exaggeration over here.
I got brandy in my bag.
Why do you have brandy in your bag? What year is this, lady?
Absolutely.
I got brandy in my bag.
I didn't say it like that.
No one
I know you didn't.
I didn't say it like that. I said I got
here have a
brandy in
drinking
the
problem.
bag.
right? None of us ever here have a drinking problem, right?
No, nobody.
Yeah.
We like substances.
Probably
too
why I
much.
sound the way I do.
So, all right.
Sorry, Ed, you have the floor.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
have the
absolutely.
floor.
Yeah.
More or less.
So,
as much as
Gal
we'll let you
Gadot?
have.
The mascara.
Yeah, I think the beginning was really good. I thought there were some points towards the end. Some of the supporting characters I could take or leave, but I thought it ended very strong.
Right.
Like this is and the big thing about this character that I think that where Batman and Superman really fell short. That I like is they really push the point that this is a hero who believes in humanity and has faith in the human in the triumph of the human spirit.
Yeah. She's got hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
She's Pandora.
yeah, and like her goal is to inspire us to be better than ourselves, and I think that's something noble that I think the last few movies have fallen short on.
All right. So, what would you? Any before we move on to Bob? Any parting words and a rating?
4 American Tacos.
For American Tacos, solid.
Yes.
That's our rating system out of 5.
Yes.
All right, Bob. Let's hear something from you. A little bit, a little overview, or how you liked.
Yeah, I thought Gal Gadot was gorgeous.
Yes. It's hard to deny that.
Yeah. I think she was well cast. Which is a good thing because in the past they've kind of fumbled with this one.
Yeah, that's true.
So to get it mostly right with Gal Gadot is a good thing.
Sure.
I think the main villain was the casting in this overall is really, really spot on.
Right.
You may not think so at first, but by the end of the movie, you'll flip because it's there's a lot of surprises.
There's a good amount. There's a good amount of surprises that come.
I don't know if they were really surprises for me, but the twists are. You're never thinking that this doesn't fit or this person doesn't fit.
Doesn't feel
moment.
forced or something
the
like
characters themselves are so well thought out for the story. With their interactions, the way the things they say, that nothing feels forced. Everything feels like the characters would be saying that.
Okay. Yeah.
So you don't fall out of the character and start thinking about, okay, this is where something's going to happen or this. You know what I mean? You tend to just keep following the story. So that's good because then you get the surprises.
They work.
They work. And the people that they chose for the characters, that they're well chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them kind of fly under the radar, and they.
You don't expect these characters to have that kind of importance. You don't expect the kind of performances that you're getting out of the people that are playing the characters.
Right.
But then you get surprised. I think everything looked good. I'm glad Zack Snyder backed away.
Right. Sure, I can see that.
Definitely, because the color in this movie is a lot different than the last couple.
Yeah.
You know, the palette is brighter. It's you definitely feel Zack Snyder in this movie.
Sure.
But he's not all over it.
Yeah.
It's not Sucker Punch 2.
Yeah,
right?
I can see some concern maybe for people.
Because there's a lot of World War I stuff in this movie.
Yeah. A little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
There's just some trench warfare going on. So
a little bit.
Which the trench warfare was well done for the service of the character Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And the promotion of that part of the story.
We'll get more into that, sure.
You know, overall, this is a well thought out, smartly done movie. The woman who directed this made sure to give us a Wonder Woman who was a strong superhero.
Right.
And not a watered down one, which was always an issue with Wonder Woman, even from the beginning, because of the times and or the view of women in society. You know what I mean? You couldn't really have a guy reading a comic book about a strong woman. She had to kind of, I don't want to say seduce her way into getting the job done, but she had to be a little sly about
it was
the way she did things, you know?
It was always about circumventing their thoughts about a woman as opposed to confronting it head on.
Right.
And calling them on bullshit, which is kind of what kind of happens here.
Well, yeah. In about the first 40 minutes of the movie, all the men in the movie are like, okay, yeah, she can kick everybody's ass. Okay? So they have to, like, deal with their manhood in a rush.
Yeah, basically. So what are you thinking?
Right. I'm thinking if this movie didn't gloss over some of the things that we talked about off air after seeing the movie,
right,
that this would be a 4.5 taco movie. But
sure.
because of those flaws,
we'll get
it's
to
a 4.
Okay.
You know, it's an excellent movie. It's the best DC movie we've seen in a long time. And it's the Wonder Woman movie that the character has deserved and never gotten. You know what I mean? This is the treatment.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Not the story, the treatment.
Fair enough. Jay.
Yeah.
You looked like you were writing a thesis, typing a thesis up before we started.
I was not. I just don't type as fast as many people.
I'm a one letter at a time kind of guy.
Well, I'm with them with the majority of you guys. You know, I thought it was really good. Thought it was very well paced. She owns this role, Gal Gadot.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is hers now until she just can't play it anymore.
This is hers, you know. And I remember for years, I always wondered what a Wonder Woman movie would be like.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I can recall being like 10, 12 years old, and I had all like the superpowers collection. That's when you clip
the
their figures. You clip their legs together and whatnot. And I had the Wonder Woman.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
their arms would swing if you pinched their legs.
Exactly. They're worth a fortune now, which is sickening.
You ain't kidding.
But I remember I had a Wonder Woman there, you know, with the entire collection actually.
Sure,
I've had those. And I would always say to my friends, even back then, I said, what do you think a Wonder Woman would be like? I mean, we knew the Linda Carter 70s show, you know what I mean, and how tacky it was. Even in the 80s, you kind of look back at that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But so, what would it be? You know what I mean? And I remember saying, well, you would need to show her kicking all forms of ass. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we go back to last night. We got Wonder Woman, the film, and it was good. She owns that role. She's got a strong presence for this. You know, just first of all, she's gorgeous. Just
Absolutely
to look at
stunning.
it, if you're, you know,
it's almost
if you're not in
she's
love
Helen
with
of
her
Troy.
by the end of that movie, you're not a man.
If she's not Wonder Woman, she's Helen of Troy. She's that gorgeous.
Exactly. She's just that gorgeous, and she slips into that role nicely. You know what I mean? And you care about her, and you love her.
Yeah.
Even in Batman v Superman, you loved her. Because you know she has that same smirk on her face while she's kicking ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, be honest. When you found out she was Israeli, did you think about converting?
I did many times.
I looked into it at least. 2 Google
Well, I thought
searches.
she was cute when she was in the
Israeli.
Fast
I
and
always thought
Furious
she was
movies.
Greek. I didn't know that she was actually Israeli.
Yeah, which I think they're trying to ban it over there too because.
Well, in Lebanon.
In Lebanon, right?
Yeah, they're trying to ban it because she's
Oh, they have a
Israeli.
problem with things in Lebanon?
Yeah.
You don't say.
They
Really?
hate the Jews.
I did not know.
And what I also liked about the performance from her is how genuine she actually treated this character too. You know what I mean? And she knows what to do with the role. You know, presented before her. Chris Pine, man. Now, first of all, I liked Star Trek, and I like him. You know what I mean? Like Hell or High Water.
It's another great movie.
But he holds his own in what's a very strong female energized film.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not an easy achievement to do for this movie. And he does it effortlessly.
No, he has to kind of toe a line, his character.
Right. To the point where, again, he is above average. You know what I mean? He really is, you know, it's not just he's not second fiddle. He's with her through this movie.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and a lot of it kind of reminded me how I felt when I watched the first Captain America film.
Sure.
Because we were watching an origin story with,
Right.
with a war backdrop.
Right, yeah.
So it had that kind of a feel to it, but I was crazy about that Captain America film.
And you could tell this definitely takes a lot of cues from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely, but it works.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do it all. They do it all. They do it right. So now, this is where Ed's gonna mutate into the fucking Hulk.
All
right.
Well, that's a Marvel character. I don't
I-
know if he does that.
Unlike you, I have no problems with Man of Steel. Okay, so when I sat down and I watched Man of Steel, they gave me a Superman movie I wanted to see, something different. It was a darker toned Superman. You know what I mean? Getting back to what you were saying about how she cares about the people and humanity.
Yeah.
I think that with Man of Steel, you know what I mean, he's having problems, like severe problems
Right.
with being raised human, but he's really an alien, doesn't know what to do with these powers. So I don't think it's a fair assessment to actually measure Wonder Woman and Superman about caring about humanity. You know what I mean? I think that's a different film.
Sure.
But I'm going to say this, and I know you're not a fan of it, but I felt the same way I felt when I watched Man of Steel. I loved Man of Steel.
Okay.
And I loved this. And I think
Right,
these
right,
are
right.
two very well done introductions of a refurbishing of a DC character.
Okay.
So I'm giving it a solid 4. But again, I'm not on board with the DC movie hate. That's just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will sit here and tell you guys that I think Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman are inferior films
Yeah.
to the two films I just mentioned.
Right.
But I think DC is now in the right direction.
Yeah.
This is a very, very good film.
Yeah.
Right.
And
This is indicative of the future, absolutely.
exactly. So yeah, and I'll watch her as Wonder Woman in anything you give me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Sure, absolutely.
kudos to Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, she
You
did a
needed
phenomenal
her
job.
for this. You
Yeah,
needed somebody with
absolutely.
a strong female vision to do this.
Right, yeah. I was telling Bill last night, this is something that a woman had to do because they know the lack of strength in female
Right.
characters this whole time. Previously, so they knew what it needed.
Right.
Right, she knew what it needed.
And it's set in a time where women weren't, looked at very fondly. You know what I mean?
Right,
and I
right.
think, and the supporting, let's give it to David Thewlis too, who's really
yes.
very, very good because he's been great in everything he does.
Who's David Thewlis?
He's on Fargo right now.
Oh, right. Okay, that's that guy. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. We'll
And
get to him
he's-
later.
Yeah, and he's great in that show too.
Sure.
All right, so I fucked up again.
I'll have to cut that out too.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to Justice League.
All right. So that brings it to me.
Yes.
I hated this movie. I think it's a farce.
Uh-huh.
I think not enough dudes. Just too many
Spoiler.
women. Spoiler. Just too many dudes. Spoiler. No, I mean, come on. It was great. Is it like, everybody wants to make it like it's the reinvention of the wheel? Like,
That
you know
I
what mean?
will not agree with.
And I think what it is, it seems like that's what people are going on about, and I think that that's just the reaction from a thing like, oh, we've wanted this for so long, and it was good. So like, there's like this exuberance behind being happy for it. Besides just seeing a movie, certain people have exuberance for it, so they're extra elated. So people have to kind of remember that going in, like, oh, is it really the reinvention of movies and DC in general? And I think, well, no, but what it is a thing where it's like, it's like when they finally made Batman. And imagine if that Batman maybe with Tim Burton, like just was a little less Tim Burton. You know what I mean? But still, like
Or maybe a little more Tim Burton.
depending on how he was feeling that day. But my point being that, like, if this hits in a similar way where like the fan base or the character specific fan base, not just, oh, I'm a nerd so I'm into this type of stuff, but no, like I'm a hardcore Wonder Woman fan.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like you're doing a jig right now.
It's got good fan reaction. It's got good critical reaction.
Right.
It's fingers crossed, knock on wood, gonna get good box office this weekend.
Yeah, and it's
just-
on track too.
It's nice to finally get one on the board.
And I feel like, all of us.
I thought we were on the board, but that's just my
Well, as
take.
far as like something that's kind of like
that is all around loved by everyone without controversy.
Or at
Yeah,
least
but
above
that's why
the,
there's over love for it.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's what it is. I think it's like a thing where like, you know, imagine like that Spider-Man movie came out from Sam Raimi. But all those years you had never had, all you had at all before that was that 170 show.
Uh-huh.
No cartoons, no video games, no nothing.
Right.
But you, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you got that movie, your brain would have exploded if you were like a Spider-Man fan. Like, you know what I mean?
course, yeah.
So you got to kind of understand like that with some of the reaction. But is it well deserved? Yeah. I mean, the movie's great. Like, I feel like I've seen other comparisons with Captain America but I think that's just the echo of that era, and it's trench warfare stuff. So it's, you know, you can say, oh, it took some beats and stuff like that, but I really don't think so. I think those are just kind of like inherent to making movies about that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna feel like that a little bit. It's gonna feel a little bit like
Right. It's got wartime elements, so it's going to have a little
Well,
bit
that's
of a wartime.
That's why I said it, because it reminded me of the first Captain America film.
Even though, see, me personally, since I know I get a little bit of a World War II fan, I can separate the two wars when I'm seeing the movie.
Right, right.
So for me, it's not like the same.
a thing that
exact
blends
thing.
into one. Right.
It's
I
not-
got you.
Yeah, you know, I mean, but for most people, it's exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, I can see that. So, you know, so when I see that stuff, I think it's, you know, because of the similarities being, well, it's, you know, but Captain America wasn't as good as this. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, you can kind of say this movie's got some flaws and stuff like that, which it does. Everything does. Yeah. But Captain America didn't hit on, like, all the beats it was trying to hit, like, as good as this does.
Right.
And this doesn't break any real molds and character, like, presentation or story and stuff like that. But it hits everything it wants to, and it hits it pretty good.
Right. But what one thing I think was different about this movie is that with Captain America, you really don't have a theme, an underlying message, like this one does.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just telling the story of Captain America.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't have that that love element.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you know what it is too? They don't capture the passion of him. Like, he's got it, Captain America, in that movie. Like, he's got this like kind of like internal passion, this real go-get-em attitude and stuff like that. And there's a passion in there for like what we're doing for the boys kind of thing, because that's the buy war bonds era. Whereas for her, it's more like instinctually, or like it's definitely like on a deeper level. Her, like, you know, because of her not knowing the world, and her having this baseline. Like, what's good is good and what's bad is bad. It's just how we're supposed to be. Like, that purity of her convictions is what resonates better.
I think also with Captain America, it's more of, this is a guy who starts as an underdog, who's really this little
that's true
guy
too.
who overcomes all of these obstacles to go so much beyond what anyone thought he was possible.
Right.
Whereas this is more about someone realizing that they have so much potential.
Right.
And then going out and proving themselves.
Right. And it is. Absolutely. What's great about this too, I think, is that is that none of the messaging is like overdone or comes on too strong or aggressive. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like they have to have some of these long, heavy, overwritten kind of conversations about, you know, the men-women dynamic and all that stuff. I mean, it's all there. It's all covered. But it never comes off as like trying to school you here on something. Like, this didn't become anybody's message movie. Yeah. Like, if you start to break this apart, I'm sure there's going to be assholes out there who are going to dissect this and they'll be you know, annoyed because it's like, you know, they're going to turn it all into how it's men bashing or some bullshit. But that's not there in any way. And that's what was, and like, not even on the tiniest bit. Like, I was surprised in a way where I kind of thought like we might hear a little bit more of like just the, you know, the pure female side of things or something like that, and the whole. But no, it doesn't play that game. It doesn't get trapped or wrapped up into that, because it's, you know what? Because the characters are so focused on the mission at hand, they don't waste any time with that stuff, which I thought was great too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the movie kind of sets things up, but it doesn't get lost in trying to.
There's no real side stories, right?
Yeah, there's no real side stories, which was cool. It's very linear like that, very straightforward.
Right. Instead of I'm sorry.
No, fair enough.
It's more like, instead of taking a detour and coming back,
right?
It's like there's a little sidestep, and then you come back in and you go back on that straight line.
Yeah, and you don't. And they don't spend any of this real overabundance of time trying to like build up the villains or the bad guys. Like, you meet them and stuff like that, but it's not like. I feel like maybe sometimes with the Marvel movies, we spend a little bit more time with them because we want you to kind of feel like they're cool. There's a personality there or something, so that we spend more time there. Like normally in some of the Marvel movies, or because they're flashier villains in the end, or they're like really kind of villainized and put up front right away.
Yeah.
We have to fight them 3 times before. The hero gets everything together and figures out how to defeat them. Sure, there's a big fight at the end and there's a smaller fight right before that and stuff. But this isn't like one of those things where it's like, I saw a point made early too that the big confrontation, like when she gets to the trenches and how that's not really about fighting any one person. It's about the trench stuff.
Yeah.
Like how it's not, you know what I mean? They almost talked her out of taking that out. And it was a thing where she was like, no, but that's it's a whole thing about, her realizing, like you said earlier, her potential and stuff. So, scenes like that where it's like, it doesn't feel like an origin movie that kind of just wants to set things up flatly, but it does, and it does it elegantly. I don't know. I liked it a lot. 4 stars, 4 American tacos.
Cool.
So
4 stars from everybody.
Yeah, 4 around.
I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, and I got a couple of things I wasn't really hot on too. You know what I mean?
No,
there's a little bit. I don't know. The posingness. Meow God pointed out to me online, listener of the show, when he phrased it that way. But I had thought about it in the theater too. Get a little posy sometimes with the snap slow mos during the fight stuff, where it's like, don't get me wrong, cool shots. Cool shit,
right.
But it was any more of that, and it would have started to feel like this is like Sucker Punch or something like that. You know what I mean? It was just enough.
Definitely,
it was just enough. So if you're thinking that maybe it's a little flashy, it's not too flashy, but all the action elements are really good. I liked a lot of the action elements.
For everything, it feels like almost like a lower budget movie.
You know what? Conceivably, you could see how you could have pulled it off with a lower budget, and it still would have been a fucking super solid movie.
Yeah.
Everything probably could have been achieved on a lower budget that's in there, more or less. And, you could have made still a solid fucking movie.
There wasn't a whole lot of effects in the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of backgrounds that were CG could have just been done painted backdrops. Stuff like that.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
So, if they really wanted to do a Wonder Woman movie like this, or this Wonder Woman movie, they could have done it on a cheaper budget.
Yeah.
Also,
it looked good though. I mean, that's why it looked cool.
They had a lot of location shooting.
Yeah.
And it's a period piece, so all those costumes and everything else.
Yeah, it ain't cheap. No, it ain't cheap in general. Don't get me wrong. But I just mean in a general smaller sense.
It does. It does feel like a little bit of a smaller movie.
It feels scaled down because we're used to these movies being about super high, crazy stakes all the freaking time, not just in the end. It's some super crazy beast monster, and it's like I was saying before, you have to fight it 3 times. And the first time it's got a nuke, but the second time it's got the super nuke.
Yeah.
So, wait till we get to that at the end in the third act. That kind of stuff.
I think that's also the Patty Jenkins touch, because most action movies you see set piece after set piece. And big. And this one, it felt like a lot of the big set pieces were character driven.
Instead
of physically driven.
And you do get some great iconic shots out of it too, which is the best of both worlds on that. So they become set pieces.
Yeah.
It's just not about a 5-minute sequence of hit after hit after hit of
which is
25, 60 people I got to beat up a staircase. You know what I mean?
Which was the one thing about Man of Steel that I think wore me down, is those last 40 minutes.
Oh my God, with the buildings?
Yeah.
It did get a little tedious. It's like, okay, I get it, but how many?
Yeah.
Never mind.
He leaned up, he came up, and he was like,
I just wanted to see.
There was a lot of, you can admit that, there's a lot of building smashing.
But look at the character you're dealing with. The characters you're dealing with.
I'm not saying building smashing isn't logical or shouldn't have had some.
Well, I think
or had a good amount. I'm feeling like after 6, 7, 18 buildings,
you're dealing with 2 of the most powerful beings on the
I'm not saying that the characters wouldn't do that. I'm talking from a director standpoint. It's like, how many?
It didn't bother me. It bothers most.
It felt like a roller coaster ride that went about 10 minutes too long, where it was just like this again. Okay, all right.
Well, and I thought that maybe the ending of this could have gotten into that, and it really it almost did, but we'll get into more of that as we go forward. And I think that's basically going to bring us to about the spoiler zone.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Warning, spoilers ahead.
You've been warned. You've been warned.
Yeah, I'm already being edited.
Time to leave the room, ladies.
Who told you your incompetent little fingers have the requisite skills to edit me? What movie? It's Christopher Plummer in The Insider. When they edited his interview.
All right, guys. I'm going to take your word for it. And Ed's side. So
Michael
that means
Mann.
Michael Mann.
Best film of '99, my friend.
The best film of '99.
Yes,
Who said?
The Insider.
Who said?
I said. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
true.
Well,
I mean,
you know, I can't argue with that, I guess.
I would have given it to that over American Beauty. I would have. That's me though.
Fair enough.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020. Hindsight is 2020.
Hindsight is 2020.
I think at the time everyone was just so, oh, this is American Beauty. This is this big thing.
Yeah.
I think you know,
And every guy in Hollywood wanted to bang some young girl, so they were like, okay, I can relate.
18 years later, Insider does hold
Pretty
up
much.
a lot. Insider does hold up a lot better than American Beauty.
But Wonder Woman, my
But that's what
friends.
Ed's doing to me.
Yes,
That's
Wonder
what Bill's going to do to me.
Now we
Just
mentioned-
bleep it out. It's better.
Just throw rose petals upon you.
He's ing.
That's all I was going to do.
Cash.
Spoilers. So anyway, you know what's funny is speaking of spoilers and all that shit. So earlier you slipped up on that, right? On Aries.
Yeah.
But like if you did a Google search on the cast today, I saw a thing like for most of the day, if you did a Google search like Wonder Woman cast, it gave it away on Google because it shows you the three of them, like three pictures up in the corner, like the little preview they'll give you on Google searches sometimes of images, and like underneath each one is hers, Wonder Woman, and Aries is this guy. And it's like, well, shit. You know? But then again, I knew it as soon as I fucking saw him. Because I'm like, that's the evil dude, creepy motherfucker from Fargo.
He's
And
too
I'm
much
like,
of a great actor to be just this third fiddle.
I've
in
just
film.
got a
Right.
mustache. Don't really mind me. It's just a little mustache.
He's in Harry Potter. He's in the Harry Potter
just
series.
a trick.
Yeah, he plays Professor Lupin,
Diversion.
Yes.
the guy who
The werewolf.
Yeah,
What happened? What?
Well,
He's the werewolf in
There's
the
a
Harry
werewolf in the
Potter.
movie?
yeah.
No, he's
In the Harry Potter
that
movies,
character.
oh, I thought we
actor.
were talking about Wonder Woman.
he plays Professor Lupin,
Mm-hmm.
who at the end of Prisoner of Azkaban, they real is
Just saying that
a
actor
werewolf.
is really
He's still talking.
he's great. David Thewlis. Getting back
yeah.
to what I was saying,
All
because
right,
I
we
had
need to stop talking over each other is what we need to do. Okay, just saying. We're
right.
doing a lot of that right now. Ed, shit on the film, man. What's the worst thing in the movie? Let's see what you say about that.
No pressure.
How about that as a question
no,
for you?
I'm gonna say the three guys who he brings with him,
The
like,
little crew?
the little crew.
Okay.
Those guys are just like they're interesting,
Yeah.
but like it feels very like, oh, we need to have our own Howling Commandos,
Well, we just need three comic relief types for some
yeah.
reason.
and they feel very tacked on
A little
and
bit.
like even when they try to flesh out those characters, it doesn't really feel like much to me.
I like.
You didn't like finding out that what's his name was an actor, but he's the wrong color.
I like I like that guy because isn't he? What show is he on? Is he on Westworld or something?
who?
I don't
No,
remember him
no,
from
no.
Westworld.
Not Westworld.
The British guy?
No,
No,
the
Indian.
the Indian guy.
Yeah.
He's in American Hustle.
Yeah,
He's the Sheik.
Trying to find it
I
out.
do aluminum siding.
But and the kooky dude, I felt like the guy from Fargo.
Oh, Ewan Bremner. Yeah, that's it. He's in Snatch. He
Okay.
plays the Scottish guy. Talks like this.
It looks like they got his character from Train Spotting and threw him
Yeah.
into Wonder Woman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, and
And like, you know what? I gotta tell you, Scottish soldiers probably did wear kilts in World War One,
sure.
but that doesn't excuse it looking ridiculous.
Well, how was it not going to look ridiculous to us?
Yeah,
No matter when. Even Braveheart's a little bit like, really?
yeah.
You guys ran around like that all the time? What about ticks?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about bugs. But
Lyme
So-
disease.
Yeah,
But,
Syed Tagmawi plays Samir.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm trying to see.
But I felt like the guy who plays Ares probably tried out for his part first. And they were like, you know what, we could do with you. We can do a little switcheroo with you.
And what about the Indian? I mean, was he really necessary?
Oh, the chief.
Well, any of those guys, you know, and he's the only funny one really in it. The other guy who's supposed to be funny is supposed to be like the bug out, weird, I make crazy faces guy. Like,
Yeah.
he really didn't work for me.
Yeah, turns
I
out
have to agree. Like those guys were probably like the one thing that really didn't land all the time. They were okay. They were serviceable, but ultimately it was just kind of like, you know, I could have got somebody better for these roles or something.
You didn't need him.
But all right. So I thought it was cool. What I thought was really cool was the whole. Let's get into the whole trenches thing, and how she is like. I mean, you feel it coming because she's doing the whole. But and then once he says it's no man's land, I was like, all right. I was like, okay. So that means she has to cross now. You've challenged her, my friend. But I was like, did you have to call it no man's land? I feel like that's like the one thing that's like almost a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
And there's another scene where when she turns around to put the tiara on, and it takes a beat too long. I don't know if anybody else felt this.
Oh yeah, that was weird. Like
I think like she turned around to put it on, and like it's like she fumbled it or something. Like I want the camera view from the other side.
Yeah, it was weird to do that in one take.
Yeah,
just kind of like.
I think it was supposed to go faster in one take, and that might have been the best take they got.
You know what? You know what that reminded me of?
What?
That reminded me of the Deadpool beat at the beginning of Logan.
Oh yeah, okay.
he goes into the phone booth.
Right.
It's just like that. There's another version of that, so this is going to take way too long.
Yeah, and when she turned around to put it on and just be all dramatic, like even if it had been a little smoother and not as oddly timed, it still would have felt a little like dramatic because it was like one of these moments where it was like very dun da 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 kind of thing, which felt a little out of place because like she was literally did a thing where it was like, oh, I can't do that or I shouldn't do that. Well, let me turn around and put this thing on and turn back around and tell you no, I'm going to. Like it was like, you know, a little too on the nose. But that's it. Like that's like it for me. Like the things that like stand out. Now, mind you, I did get hit with a moment where I had to pee so bad that when I shifted into my seat, it felt like it was going to fall out of me. And so I had to run out during actually the last during those last 20 minutes where the real big fight scene starts out. But I came back to catch like the very last moments of it. So I probably missed the point where it started to get a little tedious. Maybe.
Did you see what happened?
If it did.
Did you see what happened at Danny Houston?
Who's Danny Houston?
General Ludendorff.
Oh yeah, I caught that stuff. So right after they kill him, and it's like, okay, we gotta blow up the plane. Once they say we gotta blow up the plane, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have enough time to run to the bathroom because they're gonna have to go get to the plane.
He basically missed the about 1 minute where Ares is actually gathering up from the earth his outfit and pulling it down in the middle.
Right.
That part.
Yeah, but when I got back, she was already wrapped up in steel or whatever, laying on the ground, and then everything from that.
Well, it's funny because that's also kind of like the preachiest moment of it, where Ares is laying out,
giving a lot of his spiel.
Yeah, like
yeah, pretty much.
When he did say, "We could rule the world together," or whatever he said.
Well,
what was the trope phrase he used that almost pulled me out of the movie again? It was it's like some classic phrase of ruling the world together.
I just remember I call it a Dr. Zayas speech. Like, this was what the Forbidden Zone was once a paradise.
No, it wasn't that good.
Until the scourge of man.
It wasn't that
Your breed made an abomination of it ages ago.
Bob was trying to shut it down.
You couldn't have just done one line, just enough to let us
do it a
know.
little better.
Yeah, it was just basically like, man has destroyed this.
We didn't want you to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was
Let's
what
keep it on
Ares,
Wonder
that
Woman.
was the speech. It was Ares
Yeah.
just saying, like, you
Right.
guys
But he
fucked
uses
it up.
one particular line where I'm like, why would you use that line of dialogue? It's the most cliched line of dialogue about joining up together. I forget.
Well, that's because probably because when you were gone, they that may have been when he was first. Yeah, he was pointing out to her. He was inviting her to help him.
No, I know, I get that. I'm talking about a specific word phrase. Like,
Oh, it was
you know, like
probably
you
said-
could. I would have rewritten the.
We can rebuild this worth together.
Yeah. With you by my side. I
Yes.
think that's what it
Oh,
was.
that's what it was.
Or something, one of these. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this, He-Man?
Yeah.
But other than that, so now, how did you feel now, Ed, about this movie now compared to the comics and shit like that?
Well, I actually think it's pretty spot on.
Okay.
I mean, Paradise. I mean, even down to the fact that, like, because generally, the Brian Azzarello Cliff Chang run out of New 52.
Right.
The big landmark with that is that Azzarello, Wonder Woman finds out that she wasn't sculpted from clay.
Right.
That she was actually a daughter of Zeus.
Right.
And Hippolyta had hidden that from her.
Right.
To protect her, and they decided to go straight forward with that and have Ares reveal to her, no, you're not, the sword isn't the god killer, you are.
Right.
You're actually my sister.
Right.
So you're the only being that can destroy me.
Yeah, I came back for that. I was like, oh, brother. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed something. but I figured it out from the context clues. So that's a pretty real rush job on that whole origin reveal. They probably could have gotten a movie out of that, at least one more.
Yeah.
Had somebody else reveal it or something. You know what I mean? And that'd be like a bombshell some other time. Maybe that was a wasted move.
Well, no, because you gotta. If he's melting the sword, it goes to what he's doing in the battle with her.
Yeah, you kind of have to explain it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Plus, also, it does give that's the whole key to the ending. That's how she can defeat him.
True.
So
right. She realizes that she's much more powerful than even.
Yeah, and this
maybe
and
mom thought.
And you could blame that on the writers for just setting up the story that way. But
I'm just giving a look to Jay, making sure he's still here. What's going on?
Taking it in.
Taking it in. All right, he's absorbing. Just jump in when you got
listening.
some. All right.
Very much.
I can't. I get yelled at for talking over you.
Yeah. Very much so.
I'll wait till there's 2 seconds of dead air.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But we haven't had that yet.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right.
2 seconds of dead air is kind of a rare thing around.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to jump in when it slices even thinner than that.
So, Man of Steel.
Yes.
Just to get him. Yeah. So that ending in Man of Steel where Superman is forced to kill Zod.
Yes.
Based on the scenario that those screenwriters created, that was the only logical conclusion to that story.
Right.
And I think the controversy that comes out of, Superman wouldn't do that. This is what all the true comics fans are saying.
Which I think was bullshit. But
it's not a Superman story. And they're right and they're wrong. It's kind of like, well, given the circumstances, that was the only choice that he had. But it's bullshit for it was upsetting that the writers decided to put him in that situation.
Right. In that situation, that's the only choice he would have to use that situation as a story element. Right. Maybe, not everybody's cool with that.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to chalk it up. But she kills this guy.
Yeah.
Conceivably, anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well,
who knows?
Yeah.
It's magic. It's bullshit. You know what I mean?
And this is also a big difference between Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman is that she does kill people.
Yeah,
she's
a warrior. That's the thing. You never really got a taste of in the public light, where it's like all they know is the campy shit, or like for a lot of us, like the Saturday morning cartoon stuff from the '80s. And I'm sure even the stuff from modern day, as much as she's like a warrior and stuff, you never really kind of see her kill. And it's probably kind of like, it's a lot of sword action and shield stuff. But, this is actually seeing her kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. Dudes are dying around her, kind of. We might be getting around it because it's bullets ricocheting off her shield. Yeah. You know what I mean? Otherwise, she's just knocking a lot of dudes out. But she's got to be doing some killing here, basically. I'm sure there's a body count on her in this movie a little bit.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like it's a thing where it's like I
honestly don't think it's wrong for Superman to kill Zod. I thought that was something I've never seen before.
Right. Yeah.
And that made that was the cool factor of that.
Right.
And of course he has like a conniption fit after he does it to satisfy fans of the book, but that was the only way out of it. Yeah. Seriously, I mean it didn't even matter at that particular moment whether he killed him or not because he was going to kill people anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that they were right to do that.
Yeah.
For that film.
Yeah.
This is not adaptations of the comic book. This is DC's movie universe. They're gonna play by different rules now.
And that's the way that they were trying to show, that they were going to, that this was going to be different. So that was a big kind of like flag up in the air, like, oh, it's going to be different here.
Good.
But no, I think they've rolled it back to a happy medium, though, in a sense, at least with this as of now, where it's like, as mature as it possibly can be for this wide of an audience. Like the murder's not, and the killing isn't gratuitous, but it's like that kind of shit where an older person watching it notices. Kids, a lot of it will kind of go over their head a little bit. Like you kind of really won't put it all together.
Yeah, they just focus more on the hero.
Yeah, all the action elements that are going by.
Yeah. But what about Wonder Woman having sex?
Hey man, she likes chicks. What are you gonna do?
But no, she has sex with Steve.
Oh, we
don't see it.
It's mildly implied. I don't even think he scored. If you're talking about on the boat.
No, when they're in the
cave, in the love cave.
No. When he brings her upstairs to go to bed. They go in the room. They kiss.
They kiss,
and they leave the room.
But he's physically fine the next day. I don't buy it.
I mean, but
she would have broke. She would have broke his.
We leave the room. They don't.
But she would have broke his hip.
Yeah, but also you got to figure he knows he's been with her all this time. He knows that like on a human intellectual level, she's probably like a 12-year-old. It's not fair.
I would kind of presume.
I think he fucked her. That's what I
did.
said. That's what
I believe
said.
they did because I believe it's
So
important.
do I.
It's important to the story because it's about love. She finds that man is redeemable because of love, and she finds that she loves Steve. That Steve loves her.
Right.
Right.
I think it works
without
that being a necessary, because I didn't think necessary. I thought they left it vague and loose where I thought it could go either way, and I kind of in the end believed all that stuff just as much.
But how do they fall in love that fast?
No, I think she falls in love that fast because she's smitten and because man is new and it's probably pheromones. But
No,
he loves her too, but like he's got a separation from it because he thinks he's gonna die anyway. He's a spy. Like, you know what I mean? He like loves her at a distance where she's starting to love him or have feelings for him on a closer level. Like he's trying to keep. I think in his head he's already trying to keep it a distance from it. Like we'll make out, maybe we'll bang, but this is probably not a good idea.
I think they did.
I think they had sex.
So did I.
I think it has to have happened for the story, and that's something that Wonder Woman has never done. I think that's a huge issue for the a change in the character.
Sure,
it makes his death all the more touching.
Not necessarily a problem, but
yeah.
That's a new direction for her because
that's fair.
in the '70s show, she was always
forget it. Yeah.
She was always
it was prudish.
The sex, it wasn't. There was no sex, and it
was hardly a relationship.
The relationship between the two always had that. Suddenly there was that wall. There was always supposed to be that attraction,
right? But no committal.
And that happened with her. It wasn't like she had this thing with him. Well, we can't have it, so she was doing something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? She was Wonder Woman, so she wasn't, having sex.
Well, also, I guess we know the comics she has had sex.
Right.
And there was a long stretch where she was romantically involved with Superman. So
that's true. Yeah,
you gotta believe they get at it.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
Okay, so
they're the only two that can bang each other without hurting somebody.
Yeah, but I do like for the movie that they didn't show it, just so you can keep it open to interpretation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because you know what, I didn't lean into it 100%.
They want young girls to see this movie.
Yeah, and also because I think if they did that would turn off the younger crowd and parents. And I think that's the kind of thing that would definitely be like. That would just piss. You would do nothing but piss off.
Yeah.
It's like changing the design to the Klingons. All you're going to do is upset people.
I don't even know why you're going that far. But here's the thing.
Nice timing.
I think it's close enough where like it's implied enough where like either it happened for you or it didn't. Mm-hmm. For me, like it didn't even come into my head that was a guarantee. I thought it was just kind of one of these things implied. The next day, I was looking for some kind of sign between the two of them. Like some other movie would have done something, had some kind of moment or beat or line of dialogue that would infer just a little bit more, and there was none of that. They just the next day just kind of opens up. They're not even like smitten with each other or showing any affectionate kind of things.
Oh, like that moment in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, where like Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig are just like they're up, they're sharing coffee and cigarettes, and they're just giving these looks, kind of like, hey.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. There's no change in the dynamic outwardly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's what I got. I was under the impression that they slept together.
Yeah. I mean, I got the impression, but what I'm saying is that like it didn't land on me hard enough where I'm like, I know that happened, so I'm gonna run with it. To me, it was left so gray and so either way, because she didn't strike me. First of all, I don't know about you guys, but she doesn't strike me as a type that maybe I'm gonna close that deal so fast. Okay, I'm just saying.
I don't know. She was kind of smitten with him.
She was smitten. Doesn't mean that like when things get hot and heavy, she's gonna be down for it. This is gonna be a first time with a dude.
There's also war. This is also war.
Yeah.
Bill.
Remember too, Bill.
You have to understand what's going on.
You know what, Bill? Let's take this in a different direction. Jay, why don't you graphically describe exactly what you think happened in the shots that we didn't see?
I could say it in one sentence. I thought that they slept together. That's it. You know what I mean?
Don't use it. Get something funny.
Damn, I thought there was something more there.
They fucked.
I feel bad. I feel bad.
They fucked.
Poor Steve got fucked. I'm sure he got caught a few things.
He shot. He shot last night. that last night. Yeah.
I just thought he should be walking funny or something the next day.
There's war going on, Bill.
Yeah, and I'm saying
you
she's
get up,
an Amazon who's strong.
They didn't tackle it.
She's strong as a god.
And she's a smart director, Patty Jenkins, for not acknowledging that. It's
implied,
and that's all you need.
And ultimately, that's what I was really getting at, was that it is so like left where it's implied but not a solid that it didn't matter in the end.
Well,
because
that I'll agree with,
Because
yes.
without really me being 100% like sure that it happened, I believed and bought the love anyway
Yes.
that she had and fell
Absolutely.
for him. So like it was almost like a thing for me where like it's like okay, it wasn't official, but all right, whatever.
Well,
Like,
the
it's all
movie I
good.
watched last night, I
but
pretty.
is her having sex an issue for the character since
Mm.
given the character's history, at least as far as you guys know?
Well, if they didn't want to show it because they want little girls to
It
go to
struck
this,
me
that's
as
bullshit.
it
I
struck-
say you
yeah,
show it.
It struck me as a little bit of an issue for the character because of the way I know the character. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't-
PG-13.
Meanwhile, Jay over
I
here
only
wants
know
9.5
I only know
weeks.
the Wonder Woman show because I watched.
I didn't say that.
I didn't read the
I know,
comic
I'm
book.
kidding.
I didn't say
I'm
that.
kidding.
I want Basic Instinct, unrated.
I will say that with that there was some
Director's
magic.
cut.
There was some magic going on, keeping that little skirt from flying up or whatever. There was some heavily chosen shots. Not a single accidental.
No panty shots.
Oh, you don't think this was like Green Lantern where the whole costume was CG?
So basically, probably right. I think there was like there was one backwards flip at the beginning when we got on the island. Where I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was surprised that was flipped up to the camera. What else, people?
What are you looking at me for?
Because I don't know. Because I'm looking
no,
around.
I just,
I'm just looking around. I'm
just
trying
so
to think
happy.
of some other some things about the movie.
I don't know. I
There's
didn't.
really not a whole lot to nitpick about. I mean, it's overall it's extremely solid. I think there's just the Gal Gadot maybe was slightly stiff once or twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes to her overall experience, but
Well, I got
I
something.
think she really overall nailed the role.
You know-
I mean, we already
Yeah,
discussed
so
that.
I got something. At the
Okay.
end,
Yeah.
you know, like the whole premise is they're trying to stop this one gas from exploding.
Right.
It's gonna kill
Okay.
everything.
Yeah.
How fucking high up do you think Steve Trevor has
to
to
be.
get
Yeah.
before that explosion is not gonna hit the ground?
'Cause that's a lot of gas.
Yeah,
That's a good point. It's a good point.
yeah.
I mean, I'm no scientist, but
You know,
I'm thinking I guess he was high enough.
that's like 20 beers and not going to the bathroom for like a day and a half.
But the gas
You know,
was
it's-
flammable too, though.
Well, you're gonna get into the slipstream.
And the
And
gas
it-
is flammable too, so it burns off, right? Because that was the whole thing with the gas
It's going to
mask.
dissipate.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the whole thing with the gas mask in that cylinder is that, yeah, it melts that whole thing, but then she ignites it and burns it all off. Because I guess, you'd have to be able to open that thing up, so best to burn it all off. I think it's one of those convenient things that they wrote into it so that it's like covers up that mess.
And also, what happens to Dr. Poison at the end? They didn't really show us that. They just
Did
showed
they?
her being.
She just took off, right?
Yeah, she was just scared to death, and then she blew, and then Wonder Woman blows up Ares, and we don't see Dr. Poison again after that.
Yes. Well, maybe
Maybe
we'll
you'll
see
see
her in
how
another movie.
in the sequel. I bet you'll see her there.
Or Justice League.
And when is the sequel? Is it
Next
is,
Thursday.
Is the sequel going to be in World War II? Is it going to still be in the past?
I
or
think
are we
it's
gonna-
later. Modern
I think
day.
we're gonna get the answers to all those questions on Tuesday after they find out exactly how much money they made this weekend.
Well, the buzz is
And they'll
already
be like,
that,
okay, we're gonna do 3 sequels.
the buzz is already that they're probably going to sign her for part 2, Patty Jenkins, and probably modern day seems to be what some of the scuttlebutt I saw rumoring.
Oh, okay.
But that's rumoring. At
So
this point.
they follow the Captain America formula
Yeah,
again, a little
basically.
bit?
A little
Yeah.
bit.
So let's get into the psyche of
It's
Ed
not a hard formula to follow. It's not
and
it's
how
not a
he
bad one to
feels about
follow.
liking a DC movie.
You know, man.
That's part of this show.
What a relief it is for you.
It's just like it is a relief. Like I could finally point to something and say that's good.
We got
That's what
one.
I'm talking
We
about.
got one
Yeah.
clear-cut good thing.
Yeah, that's not Batman.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's just, what, man, in the end, about that, it's just kind of like, I guess it's just all about staying true. It's just about staying true. And, your story can fall apart where it falls apart, but at least you can't have anybody point at you and say, you didn't do the character right. Because that's the thing. Like, I don't have any qualms with the character. You know what's great, too? I just thought of that kid in the beginning that plays the young version of her.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That kid was too cute.
Right?
That kid was adorable.
Did
She
you
was
notice?
great.
Yeah. Did you notice?
I
that
almost
the-
cried. I'm not even going to lie. It made me swell up. I was like, oh, this little fucking kid's adorable.
Did you see how the older versions of her
Yeah.
were almost exactly like the young girl, and it was like a perfect progression.
Yeah,
But
it really was.
There was no like CGing on these faces.
Yeah, they just happened
They
to get
just-
some kids that
I
like.
think they might have picked at least 2 girls who were sisters and found someone else who looked really close. You know.
Yeah, quite possible. Quite possible. Because they did look quite a bit alike.
Yeah, they did some really good casting with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what did you think of Robin Wright?
I forgot she was even in it until she came on screen, and I'm like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh my God, it's Claire Underwood."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "That bitch is evil," but she's so nice here.
I
She's such a
know.
sweetheart here.
No, everybody was good. And that whole beginning was great.
Mm-hmm.
Connie Nielsen
Yeah.
from Gladiator, she's in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that opening battle was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought with all that fighting.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff on the island is great.
Also, you see basically how like they're superior. Basically, they're so physically superior that they don't need guns.
Yeah,
Although it was kind of weird that the Germans only got like 3 shots off.
yeah. There was a lot of Germans. And
Well, these
a
are
lot of
super
weapons.
beings.
Yeah.
No, fair enough, but like you would just think some more shots would have got off.
Yeah.
But it was one of these things too. It was like a little telegraphed where it's like, oh, okay, right. They've never seen guns before,
Mhm.
so these other ones are going to run up and just get plucked off, which they didn't get gratuitous on. But I think in the background, you managed to catch some of that happening. So it might be one of these things where because they didn't want to put a lot of it up front. If you look closer, you might see a lot more crazy shit happening in the background. That kind of like,
Yeah,
you
I think
know, for
there's
kids and whatnot.
Yeah, I was trying to look around a little bit
Yeah.
during that scene, and I thought there was a little bit going on.
Because it feels like they're doing a slight Beach of Normandy type thing,
Mhm.
or,
Yeah.
or a slight Saving Private Ryan-ish. I mean, if you want to give it a touchstone, but I mean, because it's there, that's the element. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
World
No,
War stuff on a beach.
one thing they didn't talk about because like one aspect of the current version of the rebirth version is that she's actually Wonder Woman is banned from returning to Paradise Island. She can't go back to Themyscira.
Because she left.
Yes. And they didn't really. Do you think that is going to be an aspect in the sequels?
Yes.
I think it already is. I think they
Yes.
mentioned it in the movie real quick when Diana was leaving with Steve,
Mm-hmm.
and her mother was telling her. I believe her mother told her something. You can't come back. It wasn't those words, but it was.
It could be twisted or intoned to make.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
that,
I thought that when she left that she couldn't come back.
yeah.
So I think if you look closer, I think maybe. you're
Maybe
gonna
they
see
phrase
some-
it
you're gonna see
indirectly.
something.
Yeah.
Maybe they phrase it
it's not-
indirectly to give
it's not-
themselves some
yeah.
wiggle room.
It's not said bluntly.
But I do think the island will play as part in the sequel. Because I was talking to my friend Jimmy at work. He was like, so what are you doing 2 and 3 on that? I'm like, well, you jump to the present day. And then you have to go back to the island to save the island because there's some impending doom at the island. And you get to, and it's present day she gets to go back. She hasn't been there in a long time. So all of a sudden it's catching up with the old friends who hate her now for leaving. And then in part 3, some old threat is like, she's still modern day, but it's some
Right.
oldie threat.
Yeah, it'll be something like it'll be maybe a god who was supposed to be dead via Ares, who
Yeah,
was not
exactly.
really dead and
Or-
survived and was in hiding.
Or if you want a really good Justice League storyline,
Okay.
you do it kind of like what they were doing in pieces of Flashpoint, where you have a war start between the Amazons and Atlantis.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
And
that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's stuff.
Do you ever break out Wonder Girl?
Ooh, I mean, and in that case, do you go?
Oof. Well, when she returns back to the island in
Maybe-
its present day, maybe somebody leaves the island with her.
Yeah, maybe in the third one, Zeus gives her a helping hand.
Because what's her name? Troy?
Yeah, Donna Troy, or
Right.
there's also Cassie Sandsmark, who's the Young Justice Teen Titans version.
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay. I didn't know that
'Cause
was a
there's-
different
there's-
character.
Yeah, there's 3 generations now. It's it's the legacy.
She has like a last name of like a regular like person out of the phone book. What was her last name? The last
It
one?
was Cassie Sandsmark.
It's like there's like a
No, she's
Lena Jones on the island.
She's a blonde
Oh,
who's a human who trained in Atlanta, who in
they-
Themyscira.
they
So
let
like, she
her in.
has,
I got you.
yeah,
She's kind of, but not quite.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
She trained at the temple, but she's not really a ninja.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Take out Jeff Johns' run on Teen Titans if you want more.
She
on that
stole the
guy.
Iron Fist, basically.
Yeah,
Didn't
right.
earn
She's
it.
right.
Yeah.
She kind of slipped in.
Yeah, or I think she's in Peter David's Young Justice too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So, but do you find her in like the third one, maybe?
I would think so. Maybe you could.
I mean, you could.
Is that too much of an '80s thing, though?
Yeah, I think really because that's more of like Teen Titans storylines than
Yeah,
Wonder Woman.
it is.
I think with Wonder Woman, the thing to do is to exploit the Greek mythology aspect. Like
I think Jay's mad at me.
Yeah, bring Hades back, bring those gods back, and see how
I'll wait till he's done talking.
they try and fit in.
That's nice of you.
And Wonder Woman is able to defend the Earth from these Greek gods.
Okay, fair enough.
Why the fuck would I be mad at you?
I don't know. You just got quiet. I said something to you twice, and all of a sudden now it's like you're
No,
quiet.
I don't.
You're just being a gentleman. I'm not used to that.
I'm letting people talk.
Oh,
I don't agree with it, but
Oh shit, something's wrong.
Where are you?
No, I'm just
Where are
kidding.
you?
No.
So yeah, I think that's. Well, I'm feeling kind of loopy.
You feeling kind of
Well, that's
loopy?
NyQuil
It's the
and
NyQuil
It's
and
the
Jack.
NyQuil and
and
the shots
scotch.
that you did.
Two shots.
We're only doing like an hour thing here, buddy. So you might have ingested more alcohol than you needed to for this particular thing.
Yeah.
Unless you now want to get into some silliness.
No, I was excited. That's all.
Did you see the Justice League trailer before?
Yes, I did.
What was the reaction in the theater for that?
Kind of quiet.
They were kind of rowdy.
Oh,
This
yeah?
is 11 p.m. audience now.
Okay, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. The
They didn't show
7 o'clock
Justice League
was.
for us.
Yeah.
Also, I was very front row, so I didn't really.
I thought you were in
get
the back. Didn't you tell me you were in the back?
I thought I was in the back, but I always get confused with those. With the way the layout is, I think it's in the back, but actually they don't tell you where the screen is.
Oh yeah, you're all NyQuil'd up. I can
Yeah,
see it.
so I was.
And you brought Carvel. You brought cake to celebrate this.
Man, we're gonna have the
This
cake,
event.
right?
We are gonna have cake.
Okay.
We are
Should
gonna
you be
have cake.
having that when you're sick?
We're gonna have the cake, right?
I don't know why it doesn't say Wonder Woman on it though. I think you missed. I think you missed an
You
opportunity.
put
there.
WW on it.
I went to a grocery store. It was.
I know it was what was there.
It
It's
was
what-
the best they had.
I
I
hate
think Ed's so happy he broke out his Wonder Woman underoos.
it.
No, I wouldn't fit.
That was a long time ago. All right, so from here now, it is Justice League is up next for
Yeah,
for DC stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do we feel good about this going in now, or do we still hold our breath?
Well, let's talk about that a little bit.
Still got the Batman.
We can go into that a little bit
Superman.
before we wrap up. I mean, the Justice League stuff now. Zack Snyder is off the project. He's taking time off because his daughter,
Yeah, she
died, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Joss Whedon's in charge now. It's going to be great and amazing." And it's
well,
like, how much is Joss doing now? He's just doing pickups,
Well,
right?
Also, here's the no. Here's the thing. They've shot. Principal photography's done.
That's what I
They've
mean.
shot everything.
Yeah.
He's just He's overseeing post production.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all
So-
edit, it's
yeah.
sound mix, it's
Yeah.
all this stuff.
So
it's
the-
already done.
The worst thing he could do is just let's move this around to fix some plot holes or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And he's probably calling Zach all the time, like, "Hey, XYZ, what do you think? What do you want to do?" Blah 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 blah. He's just like kind of helping out. He's just being a buddy.
Yeah.
That's all.
But like, I'm just gonna say, if there's any magic in like that last like 30 minutes, I'm
Yeah.
giving all credit to Whedon.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I think everyone's gonna do that. And anytime anybody hears a line that they think is funny, and they're like a Zach hater, they're gonna be like, "I bet you that's a Whedon line." And I bet it'll all be Zach.
Yeah.
And everybody will be all wrong.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Zach's a good guy. He's a good director.
Oh, he is. But
you
there's
know,
just
so-
haters out there.
Yeah,
that
It's
wa-
just it's a little worn.
Yeah. Well, also like my main
the theme.
my main criticism is the way Superman was handled, and Superman it hasn't showed up in any of the trailers yet.
So who knows? You know what? This is what's going to happen. See, he had to die to become nice. So when he comes back, he's going to be the Boy Scout again. You know, he was all
so?
moody and he had to die to get. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. That's what with the rebirth. He's going to be a little different now. He's going to be a little happy-go-lucky.
oh, is that it?
When he flies, he's going to click his heels.
That would be weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a reboot thing, but everyone will just say Joss Whedon did it and they'll love it.
I don't know. That sounds kind of cool.
You buying it? All right, as we slowly watch Ed drift into highly buzzed type status, we're going to wrap it up.
I don't think I can drive home tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before
Yeah,
you
you're
leave.
going to be hanging out for a while.
Oh,
That's
boy.
okay. Usually hang out for a while anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
Why would you take NyQuil while you're on the road?
I was.
Did you forget that
There's
NyQuil?
Dayquil. There's Dayquil, you know.
Yeah, but it's like it's
It's evening.
it's the evening.
So I thought it was a
Yeah,
night.
but you had a show to do.
We started the show, what, 7?
Yeah, you had a show to do though.
You have responsibilities to meet.
I didn't.
So David Thewlis is Aries.
Indeed. One of the most obvious moves I've ever seen, though.
And I
Because I
as soon
knew
as he
who-
walked into the bar, I knew it.
Hello, I'm Aries. He might as well just say I'm Aries.
He's British and he's a great British actor.
I
of
noticed-
course, he's the bad guy.
I was waiting to see his gnarly fucking teeth too, and he really didn't show them off in this.
Well,
They let him keep his lip down.
I think it was ballsy for him to keep the mustache the whole movie.
That's what was killing me too. At a certain point, I'm like, the mustache is weird now.
Yeah.
You're Aries, and you're still rocking that.
Like-
and then when the helmet comes off, and he's still got the haircut. Like,
Well, it's like-
I'm doing your taxes in 20 minutes. Hurry up, get the
No.
films.
I was thinking like, was this made in the late 70s?
Yeah,
Like, was
it did look a little bit like, what is this, Ghostbusters 3?
Yeah, you know what? It reminded me of the thing we were watching the other night. This was off air, but when we were looking back at the Lord of the Rings, Rob Bakshi.
Yes,
Yeah,
clips
like
of the old.
Boromir thing, and
The
how,
old animated style. Yeah.
Aragorn had the high shorts,
Yes.
but Boromir had that mustache.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it like Thula's kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, it was a little bit like that. It was like dated. It was just didn't work. It
Yeah.
didn't work. Yeah, it felt off. All right. Jay's starting a fire, but that's okay. It's a cigar.
That's right.
That's right, baby.
I think you should have a show just based on Ed passing the fuck out.
Adds condition?
That's great stuff.
Maybe.
Well,
it's-
you
yeah,
got
it's
your phone,
Periscope.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a Periscope.
Maybe you can video it and edit it. And
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'll be my second film.
There you go.
get a few minutes
We-
now.
you've been
can
looking
put it
for
on-
something.
We can put it on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, there you go. Speaking of Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot,
Everybody would love that.
let's close it up and we'll punch it out. Jay,
Yeah.
you're on Twitter. Where can people find you on Twitter?
Don't
buddy?
worry about it. Uncle Jay Chickalese said Jason Chickalese. Chime in.
There you go. How about you, Bob?
At Bob WTPC, and you can also pick up T-shirts at my new store.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Four Bridges Gift Shop at Teespring. So it's at teespring.com/Four Bridges Gift Shop.
There you go. What about Ed?
I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
At NyQuil.com. NyQuil.com.
Hooyah!
Hooah!
So,
I saw Wonder Woman 2, Bill.
Soon to be sleeping in the
It was
podcast
fucking great, even though
near
I wasn't
you.
in it.
what is Michael Rooker? Michael Rooker, what do you give?
David Dooley sucks. I could have played that role. Oh, boy.
You would have made a good Aries?
I would have been a great Aries.
Wait a minute. You're Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. I'm Mary Poppins, bitch.
And you can find me on Twitter at Wicked Theory. You can find the show at wickedtheory.com. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and wherever good podcasts are given away for free. If you enjoyed this, come check us out. Come check us out. We'll have a good time. We do lots of laughs and lots of stupidness. And Jay's giving me the bird, and I don't mean a cockatoo.
Thinking of goose.
Ed, before we go, any last words?
Thank you so much.
Oh, you love everybody to death, then right
I
now,
love
don't
you.
you?
You look like Jack. You look like Jack Nicholson in The Joker. As the Joker.
I like Peter McNichol and Ghostbusters 2. I want to tell you, I love you. I love you.
Oh, stop
I
now!
love you too,
Now he's
man.
hammy. Now he's getting hammy. Now he's faking it.
Yeah, boy.